Welcome to Punk's Talk Wrestling! On this episode, we continue our stride to our own Slammiversary as we review the greatest SummerSlam bell-to-bell ever, SummerSlam 2002. I am R.W. Hellborn, the PA Rock Prince, hailing quote-unquote from Philly! And I am one half of the Crown, which is one half of your Punk's Talk Wrestling Inter-Universal Tag Team Podcast Champion hosts of the world! Now, then, and forever by my side, 3,500 miles away in London, England. He is my tag team podcast partner. He is the other half of the Crown, which is the other half of your Punk's Talk Wrestling Inter-Universal Tag Team Podcast Champion host of the world, Mr. Did You Know, Sir King of Reels, the proper prick, C.J. Newman!
Oh boy, did you know that at SummerSlam 2002, the event that we are reviewing today, Brock Lesnar obviously defeats The Rock for the WWE Championship. And with this win, he becomes the youngest WWE... Why can't I say the damn company name today? He becomes the youngest WWE champion of all time. He was 6 weeks removed from his 25th birthday, and he beat the record of Yokozuna, who won the championship in 1993 from Bret Hart, and he was 26 and a half years old at the time.
No shit. Yokozuna was 26 and a half.
Yeah. Now, since Brock Lesnar won the WWE Championship in 2002, there have only ever been 4 other wrestlers that have won the WWE Championship in their 20s. I'm going to give you 1 minute to try and guess who they are, starting... Give me a second here. Starting right now.
Daniel Bryan?
No.
Is it just the WWE Championship?
Just the WWE Championship.
Not talking about World Championship.
Just the WWE Championship, nothing else.
Randy Orton?
Yeah, that's 1.
John Cena?
Yeah, that's 2.
And...
2 more.
Oh, 2 more. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Eddie Guerrero?
Nope.
No, he was not. He was in the 20s. Edge?
Nope.
I said John Cena already. That was correct.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh,
20 seconds left.
Jinder Mahal?
No.
Is Cody Rhodes still in his 20s?
Nope.
Oh, fuck.
And you're out of time. That's been 1 minute.
Man.
So, John Cena, I haven't got their ages, unfortunately, but John Cena won the championship in 2005. Randy Orton won the championship in 2007. Then after that would be Seth Rollins in 2015.
Oh, shit. Seth Rollins.
And lastly, the last person to win the WWE Championship in their 20s was Bray Wyatt in 2017.
Oh, damn. I didn't realize Bray Wyatt was that young.
Yeah.
I thought he was older. No shit.
So there you go. It's only 4 times since Brock Lesnar. So wild.
But all of them were older than Brock Lesnar.
All of them are older than Brock Lesnar, but still, in, their
still
20s.
in their 20s.
Yeah. So most of the WWE Championship wins since then have been people in their 30s. Or at least winning the championship for their first time anyway. So, yeah, there you go.
Right. Oh, there you go. Well, shit. That's a good one.
There you go.
I got close with that one.
You got half. I'll give you that
half.
much. Yeah. Good job.
I got a good. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, how's about we talk about SummerSlam 2002?
Yeah! Okay, holy shit.
Let's do the classic rundown. It's been a while since we did the.
It was, and I wanted to actually, before we do that, I wanted to pose this, because we get all of our information when we do these from Wikipedia. Shout out to Wikipedia, support Wikipedia, and they've got like a nice intro header here. I didn't know if you wanted to just read the intro paragraph as well as the data on the side.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I can do that.
Yeah. Because some good information.
Yeah, there is some good information. You're right, actually. And it's a lot of information that we normally say, so fuck it.
Right.
You're right. The 2002 SummerSlam was the 15th annual SummerSlam event produced by, obviously, the WWE. It was held for wrestlers... we don't need to read that. We do. It was held for wrestlers for both promotions of Raw and SmackDown, and I guess that is important because the brand split was pretty recent from this, so and we did eventually lead into Raw and SmackDown specific brands in 2002. Event took place on August 25th, 2002 at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum, or was most commonly known as the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, New York. SummerSlam became with this SummerSlam, it became the first pay-per-view to have events in 3 major indoor venues in New York City. The New York metropolitan area, be Madison Square Garden, hosting the event in 1988, 1991, and 1998, and the Izod Center in East Rutherford, New Jersey, hosted the event in 1989 and 1997, and later in 2007. So New York has had a lot of SummerSlams.
It has, in
fact, we saw SummerSlam 2018 was in the Barclays Center. So that
it was,
and updating even further.
And I was at SummerSlam '89. That was my first. Yeah. That was my first major event my dad took me to.
This was also the first SummerSlam held under the WWE name after the promotion renamed from World Wrestling Federation to World Wrestling Entertainment in May. Yeah. So the name change was very, very recent.
The name change, the brand extension. We didn't realize how epic of an event this SummerSlam was when the dice determined it. Like,
yeah.
There is so much. Once we get through the event and you read the aftermath portion, shout out to whomever writes the Wikipedia pages for some of these. Yeah, man. Being
a wrestling fan, I can read a lot of this and know for a fact that it's all legit.
We did not. I didn't really. Just looking at the card, we knew we were in for an amazing.
Yeah, well, I read when we rolled for this last week, and I read out the card. There's a few matches on this card that I knew very, very well. And I'll tell you what those are in a second.
Well, certainly the Shawn Michaels Triple H.
Shawn Michaels Triple H.
That almost became our watch-along match from
that and the Kurt Angle Rey Mysterio match I knew very well because they're both excellent matches. This was like out of all the watch-alongs, all the reviews that we've done for this pod in the last year, like this was probably the best pay-per-view, like bell to bell, as in like.
Oh yeah.
I'm not including like the reviews we've done of modern day pay-per-views. Obviously, the wrestling in-ring, the quality of the in-ring performance these days is like insane. But I mean,
no, but
this event was insane.
Yeah, so for what was happening at the time.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Who we were and who. It was. I'm just like scanning my memory of watching it again. Like I just want to watch the whole thing again. Really.
Yeah, it's a great event. How about you? We got an attendance of 14,797. How about you give us your on-screen personnel?
Let's tell you who's in this. The English commentators. We've got Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler on Raw, and Michael Cole and Taz for the SmackDown side. Spanish commentators Carlos Cabrera and Hugo Savinovich. These guys need to be in the Hall of Fame, man. Why are they not in the Hall of Fame?
You know what I'm saying? Right.
Backstage interviews by Jonathan Coachman and Lillian Garcia. Ring announcers Howard Finkel for Raw and Tony Chimmel for SmackDown. I always feel like I'm going to pronounce his name wrong whenever I do Tony Chimmel. Tony Kimmel, Tony Chimmel, Tony Chimel, Tony Chamel.
Tony Chamel, yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah, I'll just call him Tony Chamel, and that'll. I know it'll be wrong.
That'll piss a lot of people off.
Yeah, just say it wrong so people will correct me. Referees Charles Robinson, Mike Chioda, Nick Patrick, Jack Doan, Earl Hebner, Chad Patterson, Brian Hebner, and Jim Corderas. By the way, Chad Patton still does not have his own Wikipedia page. What the fuck, people?
I don't know what's going on.
Someone with a Wikipedia account, go and make referee Chad Patton's Wikipedia page.
He damn well deserves it.
Yeah. End this injustice.
We speak about this every single time.
Yeah.
Every single time.
And no one's done anything about it. I'm disappointed in our listeners. You know? And if you're not going to do it, tell other people about our podcast so that they can go do it.
Yeah.
We may have to change it up. We may have to dedicate every episode from the beginning. Well, it'll still always and forever be dedicated to the modern day Maharaja Jinder Mahal, but it can also be co-dedicated to getting referee Chad Patton's his own Wikipedia page.
I don't know if do you remember? Shit, I put something into the PTW Hall of Fame. What was that? It was a thing, wasn't it?
Oh yes. You did, because I put in title shots to the head.
Yeah, and I put something anyway.
It might be in my notes.
We haven't added anything to the PTW Hall of Fame in a while. And
no.
If you don't know about the PTW Hall of Fame, we can put anything you want into the PTW Hall of Fame, as long as it's to do with professional wrestling.
As long as there's some connection to professional wrestling. My book, I have to go through this because the book that I had written, because all that I've written down is also combined with one of my D&D journals that I haven't put into another one. So like half of these notes are hashtags from old episodes, and then the other stuff is just like baby dragon problem, battle lizards, battle 8 lizards. We've got anyhow.
Well, on that note, I'm going to put Chad Patton into the PTW Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we're putting Chad Patton. I'm putting Chad Patton's lack of Wikipedia page into the PTW.
There we go. That's 2 entries right there.
Yeah, could be the first.
Rings.
Could be the first ever thing that will go into the Hall of Fame, but then would need to be removed.
That's true. Yeah,
because once
anyway.
So.
Yeah, if anyone adds it, we'll have to remove it. But I'm still putting Chad Patton in.
Yeah, I think he deserves it. Chad Patton officially into the PTW Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I've addressed the committee, being myself, and I've decided. So
yes, and there were no objections from anyone that could object. Yeah. So there you go.
On that note,
general manager is Eric Bischoff and Stephanie McMahon. Eric Bischoff was the GM of Raw.
A couple of times.
Stephanie McMahon, yeah. Unfortunately,
we'll get to that.
Yeah. You don't want the Attitude Era back. You just want to be 12 again.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we had a match on Sunday Night Heat between Spike Dudley and Steven Richards, which neither of us saw.
Yeah, we probably should have. It was probably fucking awesome.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look it up after we're done. It was only 2 minutes and 35 seconds, but it was probably an awesome 2 minutes and 35 seconds.
Spike Dudley got the win.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first match, man, I remember this match very well, and it's gone down as an excellent match. And how could it not? It's Rey Mysterio and Kurt Angle. But fuck me, man. Like, this match is it kicks off just, it's so fast. It happens so, I mean, obviously Ray doesn't make his entrance. He kind of pops up from behind Kurt Angle.
The who's that jumping out the sky intro.
Exactly.
Mysterio, here we go.
And that's exactly what he does.
Yeah.
He jumps out the sky.
That was the fucking greatest thing they did. One of all my favorite Rey Mysterio things, because everything Rey Mysterio does is my favorite thing Rey Mysterio does. I've been a long time Rey Mysterio fan forever.
Oh yeah.
I went to CalMania 1 in my silver Rey Mysterio mask.
That's right. Yes, you
did.
did.
Check out Comedians of Wrestling CalMania 1. You'll see me. Shout out.
There we go. Yeah, but this match is so fast paced. Like, this is like Kurt Angle. I mean, this is crazy. Kurt Angle was 2 years into his wrestling career at this point, which is wild.
Fucking
so wild.
Insane.
But, he's holding himself with, someone like Rey Mysterio.
And he came out in that singlet.
Yeah, right.
That barbershop singlet was a bold choice.
So far, Rey Mysterio at this point is 10, 15 years into his career. He started very early, obviously. But
yeah, he was only 15 years into his career, and he's like 22.
Yeah, and it's just so wild, man. It's just the fact that Kurt Angle was able to hold his own against someone like Rey Mysterio and put on an excellent match like that. Some of the reversals in this match were off the chart.
Oh, dude, that West Coast pop that he did. Yeah. And, when he went over the... when Ray went over the ropes and hit Angle on the outside, how did he not just crack his head on the concrete floor?
I know.
That's just a carpet. It was
just a little bit of carpet.
His head was off the padding, but his head did not bounce at all.
Right.
It was just, I don't know if he somehow, it just looks like he hit the ground and it stopped, or if his neck was so strong that his head never even hit the ground and it just looked like it did. Yeah. But there was no I hope to one day ask both of them how he managed to not bounce his head off the concrete there. That was just phenomenal. Anyway. Yeah,
that match is probably one of my favorite of the night. There were a lot of fucking excellent matches in this card.
Yeah.
But they crammed a lot into 9 minutes and 20 seconds. It certainly felt a lot longer.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And it just set a fever pitch for the whole night. It woke the crowd up. It almost told the crowd that this was going to be a crazy pay-per-view.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah,
and it fucking was.
Yep. Because next we got Ric Flair, and
before that we quickly had Eric Bischoff and Stephanie McMahon meeting each other in the general manager's office, which was just awkward and weird and terrible acting, and it was just strange. Didn't like it. Didn't like it one bit.
The just unnecessary, sleazy sexual innuendos constantly.
Yeah, it's weird.
It
was weird. I didn't like it.
It was gross. It was garbage. Hashtag garbage.
Yeah.
It was garbage. But it was 2002. It was Attitude Era. It was 2002. That's what you got. But it didn't age. That part didn't age. The matches, fucking phenomenal. That shit.
Yeah, we were kind of in between eras here, because we were kind of in between the Ruthless Aggression era and the Attitude era. It's it was the weird crossover moment in 2002. Anyway, the second match of the night was Ric Flair versus Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
This is crazy. So I looked this up. This is wild. So in this match, Ric Flair is 52 years old.
Yeah.
In 2024, Chris Jericho is 53 years old.
Yep.
In this current moment, Chris Jericho is actually older than Ric Flair that was in this match that we watched.
Yeah.
For Ric Flair's age, he actually put on a really good match here.
Yeah, man.
It's crazy to think as well, he didn't retire still for another 6 years after.
Yeah.
So he had a lot of his career left. And I remember watching these matches back in 2002, 3, 4, whatever. Never did I ever think that Ric Flair was past it. I did feel like I obviously could see that he was a bit slower and older than other people, but it never was glaringly obvious that he shouldn't be in the ring.
Yeah.
I think at this point in his career, he was putting on decent matches. He had matches with Taker and Triple H and others that. They're actually great matches around this era.
And but he was also working with a lot of people who have been in the business for decades. I mean, and him and Chris Jericho worked together in WCW for sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure they've they
probably crossed paths at some point. Yeah.
They had. I mean, well, I don't. Maybe they didn't. I don't know.
I don't know
check
because
some records,
Chris
but
Jericho left in like 1998, and like so probably not, to be honest, because Chris Jericho, the reason he left WCW at the time was because he was being treated as a cruiserweight, a second class cruiserweight at that. So he was
so
no more than just.
So this probably was. This might have been
good potential. We'll have to look into it, but the potential.
If anyone knows, tell us if this was the first time Chris Jericho and Ric Flair had a rivalry.
Yeah.
And but fuck, man, what a match!
Yeah, it was good. It was really, really good. For as I said, for the age that Flair was, he was putting on a fucking great performance. Yeah, 52. But when you're one of the greatest of all time, I'm sure that wasn't that difficult. And
he showed why he was still Ric Flair. He, 10 minutes and 22 seconds defeated Jericho by submission.
Yeah. Then we had a little backstage segment with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. Basically, Paul Heyman bigging up Brock Lesnar. Another thing, I just another thing with ages that might blow your mind. Paul Heyman's 37 years old in this moment.
Jesus.
I know.
Man.
Like, wild.
Yeah.
Just a couple of years older than me. But if you looked at even that guy in 2002, if you held him up against me, how he looked then and how I look now, I'm 35.
Oh, he looks way older.
He looks astronomically older. It's insane.
Yeah. Which, owning a company, owning ECW, and
owning ECW
would do that. We'll prematurely age you for sure. Also just being on the East Coast, we age disgracefully.
But it's crazy. Yeah, he. But the thing is, though, if you look at Paul Heyman now, like he's aged for sure, but he ain't looked too different to how he looked in 2002.
I'll tell you what, he's looked worse.
He's looked worse, yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, so they had a little backstage segment. Brock didn't say a word, but that was kind of Brock at the time, so that's all good with me. And then we head on to Eddie Guerrero versus Edge, man. What the fuck?
Yeah, I completely forgot that.
Worthy. Yeah, what a fucking great match.
I completely forgot that Edge came out to Rob Zombie's "Never Gonna Stop."
Yes, he did. That
was a good time.
Yeah, that was a fucking great entrance theme. And I did notice actually before they used, obviously, they must still have the rights to that entrance theme because obviously it was in the on the stream that we watched. But
yes,
Ric Flair obviously came out to some mashed up version of 2001: Space Odyssey. It was like this weird out of tune.
Yeah, I noticed that. But was that the original audio or was that an overdub?
He's always used the original 2001: Space Odyssey, and what I think must be the deal is that if they bring Ric Flair out, they can use it on a live broadcast, but they're not allowed to use it on a replay.
Interesting. Yeah, there's Ric Flair's had a couple oddball entrances actually, which is a thing. Anyway. Yeah, Edge,
this
11 minutes, 47 seconds. It was a phenomenal match. Edge got the victory over Eddie Guerrero. But fuck, man. Like,
this, I'm not sure that the specific timeline of all this, but I do know that while I might be wrong, but I think it was during this rivalry that these two had, it eventually led to one or the other winning the Intercontinental Championship and it leading to a ladder match between the two on SmackDown. At some point, and
I believe that's right.
Fucking excellent match. There was a sunset flip that I think Eddie Guerrero did onto Edge on the ladder, and it was the first time anyone's ever done like a sunset flip on a ladder. So it was wild. These two guys were so compatible in the ring, compatible. But yeah, they and it's quite cool as well because we had Edge obviously later on in his career, obviously after Eddie Guerrero passed away, Edge would work heavily with Vicky Guerrero.
Yeah.
As part of like his faction and everything on SmackDown.
Really heavily.
Really, very heavily. But yeah, pretty cool. This was a really nice, cool match. It's always a pleasure to like watch anything that we watch back and see Eddie Guerrero wrestle because he's one of the greatest of all time in my opinion. I think in between the ropes he was one of the best to ever lace up a pair of boots.
Yeah,
so
that was a dude who could tell the story in the ring.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And later in his career, like on the mic as well, like he was
for sure.
fucking phenomenal. His character work is second to none for some. But so yeah, fucking great match.
Yeah.
Edge getting the win on Eddie Guerrero, 11 minutes 47 seconds. Good stuff.
Great stuff. And then we've got some okay stuff.
Yeah,
I would say the most okayest. The match. Again, the match itself, the tag match was fantastic. All of these guys are phenomenal. I love Booker T and Goldust as a tag team. That was
so good. And this was at a point when they're because they obviously Booker was really reluctant for a while.
Yeah,
to be partners.
Yeah, but this is one of those ultimate odd couple pairings.
They were like comfortable with each other and they were doing it. So
it's more fun. It's a lot more fun if you just play along and play into it.
Yeah, and really quick, just to this point here. In every match so far, there's still one person in every match that still wrestles. We've got Rey Mysterio, Chris Jericho, Edge, Christian, and Goldust, all still wrestling to this day.
Yeah.
Which is wild. Yeah.
And Christian is still wrestling.
Yeah, that's what I said, Christian.
Oh, yeah.
Christian.
I'm just, I've just never been a big fan of nationalism as a heel or face maneuver.
Yeah.
It's easy. It's just such an easy, I don't know.
It's a low ball kind of like gimmick to hold. I think in a way there's been many anti-American gimmicks over the years.
Yeah.
I think this is, out of all of them, this is probably the most tasteful, because obviously the bidding kind of rivalry between Canada and America is only laughable because there's never really been a war between the countries.
Yeah, exactly. It's more just
it's almost a joke at that point.
It is, yeah. And I think that's why they can get away with it because But I guess it's just not my thing.
It's not my and again, as I've said this many a times before when we've seen gimmicks like this, as a guy from the UK, when you've got the whole USA gimmick, I'm just like, cool. It's just like,
yeah, exactly, because it really
care.
does, right? Because it really does turn off anybody other than the American audience. It's definitively just for an American audience.
It alienates, but that's the thing. So,
but it was 2002.
It was 2002, and
as
I've said before, like, you don't really get these kind of gimmicks anymore because they know that they have a global audience now.
Exactly.
It's like you can't just be doing these American gimmicks because it's just like, Cody Rhodes, yes, but he's not fighting anyone that's anti-American.
No, but that's also not his gimmick.
His gimmick isn't American. It's his get-up is American.
His gimmick is but also I'm really that's the one thing. It's part of the thing that I'm still extremely critical of Cody Rhodes for, is he needs to drop the American Nightmare shit. He's not a nightmare. He's not scaring anybody.
That's the thing.
Like,
it's just something
he's
stuck when he went to the Indies, when he left WWE. And
I know,
was a heel
but
for a while,
it's also just. It's just me. It's just me, and I'm definitely not. Certainly not the only one that thinks like this, but I'm certainly not. But there's certainly plenty of people who will disagree. I just don't. I don't think.
Have you watched? I mean, I've recently just started watching it. I just finished the first season of The Boys. I don't know if you've watched The Boys at all.
I've watched some of it. It's also not. It's not my thing either.
Yeah. So I just watched the first season. It's pretty wild show.
Yeah.
But obviously the
it's Attitude Era.
Yeah. Homelander in that is obviously
very much a heel.
Very much a heel.
Very much the bad guy.
He's like a despicable human being.
Yes, very much.
But it would be cool to have, if Cody ever turned heel, to have it be a Homelander style gimmick where.
But what people think. But here's the thing. We know he's a terrible person because we know behind the scenes. to the public, he is a very, it's the Captain America gimmick. Cody's more Captain America. Cody's got a Captain America gimmick, not a Homelander thing. People want to make, with the cape and with the flora, with the whatever they want. They can do whatever they want because it's popular right now. But his gimmick is not I'm an American guy. His gimmick is just he's using the color schemes to promote. He's not promoting that I'm American. He's just all American guy. He's as American as Hulk Hogan was. Well, actually,
it's funny because yesterday I really can't remember the name of the channel, but there's a channel on YouTube that you might have seen them. They get celebrities on there. They have a massive sneaker shop, and they take the celebrities around and they kind of talk about sneakers they've worn, and they buy a few.
Okay.
A lot of famous wrestlers have been on there, like Austin and things like that. Ric Flair's even been on it, but Cody Rhodes was on it.
Okay.
And these things get millions of views, and they talk about it on there because they talk about the American thing, because they show him some like sneakers that have like American like flags on them and stuff.
Yeah.
And he does mention that, like, well, it's funny because he's from Georgia and he has an American flag tattoo on his neck and he wears the American flag. And a lot of people think it's some sort of like Republican, kind of thing. But he said, in fact, it's just like, I'm just pro-American. And he's just very optimistic about America. So. Yeah,
he's trying to embody the sense that you kind of want to have. Just, I can be proud of where I'm from without making a statement that we're better than other people.
Yeah,
I can
exactly.
just I can be proud of the good things.
Yeah,
and promote those things as the positive values. He's also not. Yeah, he's not
like
he's
Captain
not making,
America.
Yes. My problem with it is, it's directly correlated to his dad, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. It's you're still living. You're still, the whole thing is you're still using your dad's gimmick as your gimmick, and at some point, it's why I loved Stardust so much. That's why I loved the things that when he went off of script. Randy Orton isn't coming out in a cast or in a cowboy hat. Randy Orton doesn't use cowboy Randy Orton or city boy Randy. Like, it's not a play off of his dad's gimmick. Nobody else is using a play off of their family's gimmick, except maybe some of the bloodline. But that's not a family gimmick. That's just that's just.
I guess maybe you would say Charlotte Flair is probably, with the robes.
Charlotte Flair is, but that's different because it's Charlotte Flair. It's different because she's Charlotte Flair, and that's just it. Like. The end of the discussion. It's Charlotte Flair.
I think with Cody, it's just like, it's clearly he threw that at the wall and it stuck.
Yeah,
and I think, in a sense,
it's marketable.
It's marketable. It's got him over, and I think at this point you can't go back on it. You have to leave it where it is.
But I can never buy a piece of Cody Rhodes merchandise. I can't. Like there is no. Unless you show me a well done one, I don't like the skull thing. I don't like the tattoo that's his emblem that is all forever going to be. I totally don't like the fact that he got a tattoo on his neck as a 10-year tattoo veteran. Like the fact that he has one other tattoo, which is just some cursive writing, which is also directly related to his dad and his dad's gimmick. So you see it every time he wrestles.
I think that's more of a personal thing.
I know
his dad passed away, so he got a tattoo that said "Dream."
I understand. Yes, that's understandable, sure. But I have to look at it every time he wrestles, and I have to look at his neck tattoo every time, and it's just. It's just me, man. It's just me. Those are the reasons why I don't like Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
it has, I don't dislike him as a person. He's probably a fantastic, wonderful human, but I can't get behind him for all the reasons. It's why pre-WrestleMania RW Hellborn wanted so badly for Roman Reigns to win, was because fuck his tattoo and your red, white, and blue, like. But that was pre-WrestleMania RW Hellborn. Post-WrestleMania RW Hellborn is,
He loves Cody Rhodes.
No, but I do love, but I did know he was going to win. I did know.
Did you now?
I did know he was going to win.
Is that right?
It is. That's correct. Yeah. As I recall it.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as he got the 3 count, you definitely turned to me and told me you knew all along.
I have that. It's on, and I'm pretty sure I have it on video.
I think you do, but I'm pretty sure if you ask maybe about 100 or so people in the parking lot that you might have spoken to, you definitely thought Roman Reigns was going to win.
But that was pre WrestleMania RW Hellborn.
I get it.
That's the thing. The moment the bell rang, WrestleMania was over. And
I guess so. There's been 3 different types of RW Hellborn in this year, because at the start of the year we had, before the year turned in, we had like hating CM Punk.
Oh god. Oh yeah, 2023 RW Hellborn.
Yeah, what a scumbag.
Despised CM. But I mean, he was in AEW. Like, it was the worst. I mean, AEW CM Punk was legitimately the worst CM Punk. I mean, I don't think that, like, on all accounts, probably his own, he would probably say that too. He was probably the worst person in that environment. And
you're probably right.
Yeah. But
I guess he was a product of his environment.
And also 2023 RW Hellborn was going through some things,
Yeah.
That
we're all growing people.
We're all growing, and I grew to totally understand him much better.
Yeah.
Also,
back to the card. Jesus
oh,
Christ,
yeah.
we are
haven't
so far off the mark here.
Rob Van Dam.
Match was great. It was we
haven't finished. Oh, that's right. The tag team match.
But then we had the weirdest fucking segment from WWE World. We had Jamie Noble on stage.
Oh God, I
at WWE World with her boyfriend. With his girlfriend Nadia.
Nadia.
Nadia,
I'm pretty
whatever.
sure. Yeah.
She won Tough Enough.
Yes,
Tough Enough.
I believe I believe they were. I think they were dating. I'm not sure.
They were dating, but then there were 2 dudes on stage, and it was like, which one do you want to fucking make out with?
So they did some. They were heavy, like they were leaning heavy into this kind of white trashy, kind of vibe.
Bullshit. Yeah,
and swingers.
It was weird.
Like it was weird.
It was fucking weird. Anyway, she plants her lips on some dude. They fall back on the sofa, and off we go. And I'm pretty sure at this point it goes back to Eric Bischoff and Stephanie in the locker room, and then Eric Bischoff says some weird remark about this is the only thing women are good for, or some shit.
Yeah,
I'm like, whoa, like that's some fucking.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, he said there's a woman who knows her place.
Yeah,
on the like. Yeah, it's just.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I guess we all know who's running the company at this point. Anyway.
Yeah, but it was 2002.
It was 2002.
It did not age well. The market, their target market was fucking 16, teenage to early 20s dudes.
Yeah.
And I'm like I said, I'm gonna try to put a silver lining on it in that later on, there's a little bit of a comeback.
Yeah, I guess so.
But it was just so painful to watch.
There was no women's match.
There was 0 women's matches, by the way. I don't know I don't even know if there was a women's division at this time. But there was a women's division. I just skipped ahead to the next pay-per-view, which was Unforgiven, and we had more Trish Stratus versus Molly Holly. Yeah, so that's right, because Trish Stratus came out at one point. There was that's right, that's coming up later. Oh fuck. Anyway, that segment happened, and then it was over, and I blocked it from my brain again.
Until I brought it up.
The Un-Americans defeated Booker T and Goldust and retained the titles, by the way, in that match.
Yeah, they cheated. Test got involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we got Rob Van Dam versus Chris Benoit in a singles match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah.
This was an inter-promotional match, I guess inter-brand match because it was
inter-brand
Raw.
match, between the two, yeah. And
as we'll see with things that happen, the brand split made a lot of things happen after this.
Yeah. Second longest match of the night. I mean, I actually, another thing I did spot during this pay-per-view,
30 seconds longer than the main event itself.
Yeah. Something I did notice about this pay-per-view was if you look at all of the matches, nearly all of the matches, we had loads of for the most part, former ECW people and WCW people in almost every match. Besides the last three matches, it was all people, a lot of people that used to be under WCW or ECW contract.
Yeah, aside from Kurt Angle at the beginning.
Aside from Kurt Angle and Edge. And Christian.
Yeah, I mean, Spike Dudley, Steven Richards were ECW. Rey Mysterio was both. Jericho was both. Eddie Guerrero was both. I think Eddie Guerrero was in ECW for
Yeah, Ric Flair was WCW.
Lance Storm, Christian were both.
Christian wasn't. No, Christian was always WWE. But Lance Storm was both.
Yeah.
Booker T was WCW. Goldust was WCW. Rob Van Dam was ECW. Benoit WCW and ECW. Yeah, and then the last three matches is kind of WWE centric.
Well, this was also after
post-invasion.
So there was no WCW at this point.
Yeah, but I guess it showed, like, it was quite cool to be able to see that, like, these people had a place on the card. You know, they were competition, and their contracts were essentially purchased for a lot of these people. Like, that was the deal. They bought out a lot of the contracts, and a lot of them they let run out because they couldn't afford to pay for them, like Goldberg and the like.
Oh right, yeah.
Anyways, just an observation. But this is a good match. One of the better of the night. I mean, it's, both these guys were both in their prime, actually, at this point, I'd say.
Yeah.
And so many, like, man, Rob Van Dam was so unique.
Shout out to Prime.
Shout out to Prime?
Yeah, Prime, WWE
I see what you did there.
And,
very good. Well done.
Yeah.
There's so many moves that Rob Van Dam pulled out here that I just forgot that he did, man. Like, like Rolling Thunder, and like there's so many things he did, man. I was just like, shit. I don't know. He was just one of. I mean, man, I didn't even mean to make this joke, but he literally was one of a kind.
Yeah.
I know his theme song said that, but it was legit. He literally was one of a kind.
And this was these two guys are probably that, like, epitome of, these were not WWE guys. They did not come up in WWE.
Yeah.
One was, and Benoit did ECW time, I believe.
He did,
well.
yeah.
So both of them.
In fact, we did a review with Benoit in the main event against Too Cold Scorpio.
That's right. That did happen. Shout out to our earlier episodes. That happened in. Anyway, Rob Van Dam defeated him in 16 and a half minutes to become the WWE Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, title change right there. Yeah.
And apparently that was Rob Van Dam was SmackDown. Or something. Something happened. I kind of forget what happened later.
Rob Van Dam was Raw. Rob Van Dam's Raw, because Eric
That's
Bischoff
right.
was
That's right.
celebrating.
Right. Eric Bischoff was gloating, and then Stephanie McMahon.
Somebody just stood up, laughed, and left the room.
Yeah, walked away, and that was when you knew something was about to happen. Which was the next match, which was the Undertaker versus Test for 8 minutes and 18 seconds. I don't know how. Yeah. I don't know how Undertaker. SummerSlam, Undertaker. I mean, no offense intended to Test, but this seems like beneath him.
Well, I think this was Undertaker's American moment because
Test was part of the Un-Americans thing.
Yeah, so I've got it in my notes here. So before this match, they obviously buttered up the crowd a bit because before this match we had an Un-American promo. video package,
Yeah.
shitting on America.
Of course.
Next person that comes out is fucking Test, gets the booze, and then we get the American hero, Undertaker.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
not only that,
Yeah.
the Undertaker had returned to the American Badass a few years prior.
Yeah.
And then later on into that run, he turned heel, and it was not too long before this that he turned face. So
that's right. Yeah,
he was newly one of the first times he was like the face American Badass
because it's easy to turn. It's an easy turn to get you to go face by becoming American.
Yeah, exactly.
Even the Undertaker is defending America.
Yeah,
from the un-Americans. And he did it in 8 minutes and 18 seconds.
What the fuck? Undertaker in this match was unfucking real. It's crazy to just see him move that fast. He was bouncing off the ropes like fucking Bron Breakker, man. He did a leapfrog. The Undertaker did a leapfrog in 2002. Like, his lariat, like, he fucking got height on his lariat, like, what the... Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. The speed he was getting up to, the 2 choke slams he did on Christian and Lance Storm when they interrupted, like, fuck, man.
It was peak Undertaker too, and like...
Yeah.
It's just wild to me to think this was his placement on the card. Like, Undertaker's got the bathroom break match.
Yeah, you're right.
When you think about it, because obviously no one's missing... This was the match that was the least about anything.
Well, it's crazy because the pay-per-view before this, he was in the main event against The Rock and Kurt Angle for the championship.
And it's SummerSlam.
Scrap that. He lost the championship in that match to The Rock.
Right. So maybe, okay. Which makes sense. Well, that also makes sense because he was the heel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. This is sorry. The picture is starting to make sense because there was issues, I guess, with later. We'll talk about it with later on in the match. This starts to make sense now.
And here
turning
you
go. Turning Undertaker slowly like a face turn for the Taker.
Yeah.
After losing to The Rock. Okay, I get it.
Then, if you speed ahead 1 month later to Unforgiven, we had Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker.
Yeah.
So for the WWE Championship in the main event. So he was back in the main event again. I think you just needed a bit of time to build Undertaker back up to be a babyface so everyone could be into him being a babyface.
Yeah.
And then straight back into the main event picture again.
Yep. You have to see the whole timeline to understand make it make sense there. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It was this was Undertaker getting a match, getting a SummerSlam paycheck, but it's just he's not the story here. He's not the story here.
Yeah.
The story is Shawn Michaels versus Triple H in an unsanctioned street fight.
Man, what the fuck? So happy we got to watch this match.
Yeah.
Fucking wild, man. Wild match. Shawn Michaels versus Triple H, unsanctioned street fight. Where do you even begin? It's a fucking classic.
Yeah, I mean the emotional roller coaster of his his return from a broken back.
Yeah.
To Triple H turning on him. And getting here was just this was just excellent storytelling.
Yeah.
They made you feel all this, all that resentment that Triple H was, the
promo package they had before the match was excellent.
With
the whole, Triple H obviously turning on Shawn, but then a week later, like he gets attacked in the parking lot, and Triple H is showing some kind of sympathy, when obviously it turns out it was Triple H all along, the swerve. Yeah. So I mean, this match was fucking hardcore. It was emotional. It was It was seeing Shawn Michaels wrestle for the first time, like in 4 years, 5 years, was incredible.
And it's also the epitome of the no one hits you as hard as your best friend.
As your best friend, right? It was.
Because they beat the fucking shit out of each other.
Really fucking did, didn't they?
You know? And yeah, man, it was just, as far as hardcore matches go when it comes to stuff like that, WWE doesn't overdo it, because when they do it like this.
Exactly.
You
and
know?
like this, I know obviously this match had a bit of blood in it, but like this match, a bit of blood. That's probably an understatement. But
like, I don't know how they did the next bit with the straight face with all the blood still stained.
I know, it's
ring.
wild, isn't it?
They didn't replace the ring. They
didn't, did they? It's
no.
mad. But you got like this match was like fucking like it's kind of matches like this where obviously a little bit of color really does add to the atmosphere of the match, because
you can't have a match like this without
I mean, like, man's head got put through a fucking car window. Do you know what I mean? Like it was a blood feud. It really was a blood feud, and to have it was just two guys literally beating the absolute fuck out of each other, and it was very personal.
Yeah, and even at this time, I mean, for the amount of blood, there was hardcore. Like I think the hardcore championship existed at this time, right?
It was gone by this point. I think.
Well, it had already happened. So, but like, they have been through the hardcore era of stuff. They still, even with the hardcore stuff that they did, they still always. They didn't overdo it with blood. Yeah. Ever. They used it more than they used it more.
They used it for main event. They never really used it for the hardcore championship. They used to only use it for these big matches.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was Triple H a lot of the time.
Yeah. They did. They didn't do it all the. They didn't do it all the time for everything. You know.
Yeah.
They didn't do it on TV.
No, they didn't. Yeah, they rarely did they do it on TV. It's more for the pay-per-views and more pretty much reserved for the main event as well. Always for the main event. But yeah,
usually.
Man, like, and the way this match fucking ended with the sledgehammer to the back a couple of times. Oh, fucking hell! Like,
yeah, that wasn't the end of the match. I mean, Shawn Michaels won the match.
Shawn Michaels won the match. Yeah, after the match. Yeah, but it was so soon afterwards. He had barely celebrated.
This is where I wanted to shout out. This is where I wanted to shout something out that I was going to call to attention anyway, and then I'm going to shout at you. Because I wanted to talk about how aggressive Earl Hebner got in this match with Triple H when Triple H went to shove it, like got the sledgehammer out, went to shove him, and Earl Hebner's like, it's like, I'm sick of this. Like, I'm sick of the chair with the hammer and all of it. Like, knock it off. He was just like he's scared, and Triple H even was like, okay, Jesus, man, like, geez, dude, back off.
Yeah,
like this is how we got into the earlier conversation too, because this was sort of what I wanted to tie into the earlier conversation. Was Earl Hebner got himself over a little bit in that match? Like, he got physical.
He did that in a lot of matches. He
was, but he had a thing, like, that was part of Earl. That was part of his thing. Like, he had a little bit of a gimmick of, you push him too far and he's going to shove you back, and he's going to put his finger in your face, and he's going to remind you that he's the referee and you don't fucking touch me.
100%. 100%.
You know, but I appreciated that. That's not. But he also never went out in public and asked people, "Do you know who I am?" In his fucking in his 30 years, 40 years of professional refereeing.
Yeah.
I just remarked at that spot because of how well, like, the camera guy caught it really well. Everybody, like, that moment was a really, really well played moment, and Triple H sold it. He sold it really well, and it came back, and it came back and wound up helping him helping Shawn beat him because he got distracted by Earl Hebner, and if I'm not mistaken, I think they might have even had like after that, didn't he have like he hated Earl Hebner after that, like. I don't know. I
can't really remember.
I can't remember.
I definitely know that there was some. While Triple H was in this era, there was some kind of weird thing with Earl Hebner for sure.
Yeah, there was definitely he inserted. But anyway.
But with that, I mentioned in a group chat earlier before we recorded the pod, and I've mentioned it on the pod before, but.
No,
I can't stand Earl
Hebner. I blocked it from my memory again because I can't believe. I can't believe
the guy.
How? Why? Doesn't make sense.
There's no referee that looks more awkward in a fucking wrestling ring than he does. He doesn't look like he doesn't look like he wants to be there. His now
because he's tired of all these people's shit. Because he's been dealing it for.
It's not like, all right, here's it. So you got when you watch like a really shit TV soap opera, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you get some of the main characters that are like...
You mean like wrestling? You mean like professional?
Yeah. But you get some of the main characters that are really fucking good at acting, right? Their acting's good, right?
Yeah.
But then you get like the I don't know, the guys that aren't really main characters, and their acting's a little subpar. It's not even subpar. Sometimes their acting's like real shit, just shit acting, right? Now, he's not saying anything, right? He's a referee, he just stands there, right? But his reactions and the way he is in a wrestling ring is reminiscent of some guy acting, going like his lines are written up behind the camera, and he's like, "Oh no, the dragon has made it into our cave. What are we going to do?" Do you know what I mean? That's his movements. His movements reflect the guy that can't act. And I'm not saying you have to act to be a referee, but Charles Robinson is the perfect referee. The way he reacts to big spots is spot on. The way he holds himself in a ring is spot on. Like, he is just spot on. There are a lot of other referees that are just great. Earl Hebner gets so much praise. I get it. He's been around for a long time. He got released from the WWE because he sold T-shirts from the back of his car. That's another story. I'm not getting into that. But he just never got... I couldn't get on with him. Same with Nick Patrick, but that's a story for another time.
What the fuck are you... Episode over.
We made it to nearly 3 years.
Wow. Yeah, we made it. Almost made it to a year.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
Good go. I mean, good run.
It's a good run. It's a good run. But I mean,
the ride ends here.
Yeah.
He
was just sucked, man. He just sucked. He wasn't good. What made him good? Anytime something happened in the ring, I'm not saying he has to be fucking like Aubrey Edwards, whatever the fuck her name is. I'm not the only person that doesn't know her name. But her reactions are over the top. They're dumb. She's trying to get herself over. Like his reactions to things were never natural because there was never a reaction. Everything that happened in the ring, he just stood there like a weird. He was like an NPC. It's like an NPC. At least NPCs react. He was like an NPC in a game from like 2002. He just didn't react. He just stood there. And even his counts, even when he fucking flopped his arms around to count fucking to 10, they were lame. He didn't do that right. He had no conviction. He had no All right, I'm gonna stop digging a big hole. But I didn't like Earl Hebner. Okay.
If ever there was a clip that I wish we had video of, it probably would have been this one. Oh man! Please make this into a reel because this is great. I love it, man. Yeah, in 27 minutes and 20 seconds, Shawn Michaels does defeat Triple H. He gets his victory upon his return, and then immediately gets sledgehammered in the back.
He gets fucked up.
And JR is appalled. I mean, which it would be. I mean, but JR was not happy.
JR was the best at being appalled.
JR was really good at being appalled. That was his. He rolled a fucking crit every time on being appalled. Yeah. If there was a being appalled check, he
passed it every time.
It was like What's the if he failed? It's like his legendary action. Like a legendary reaction. If he chooses to be, he can just choose. If he fails at being appalled, he can just choose to be appalled instead.
Yeah. So that was that. Great match. Loved it. Glad we got to watch it.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
And then we had. I'm just checking my notes to see if there was anything between, but I don't think there was. Yeah, there fucking was. Howard Finkel's a heel, apparently.
Yeah, this was the bathroom break.
This was fucking terrible. I didn't know what I was watching. I thought Finkel was going to say something. I thought he was going to say something about the attendance or something. And then he just said some weird bullshit. Yeah, there was something going on at the time where Howard Finkel was he had his own character now too, and he was having there was some rivalry with Lillian Garcia, as you can see later. She comes out. I don't know what the fuck was going on between him and Trish Stratus, other than creepy, old wrinkly dude being creepy old dude. I think that was really it. He was
for just, the cringe of it.
I think Trish was there to stick up for that, basically. Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, the only thing I can say about it in hindsight is the creepy guys always lost in the end. Yeah. For sure. But sometimes it really took a long time. Like even the shit that Vince McMahon did, the slimy shit he did on camera with the Trish Stratus stuff, and he always got his in the end. But in the meantime, it was just really like it just wasn't good. It wasn't delivered well. It wasn't making it. It wasn't. I don't know. I'm just glad this shit is over. I don't even want to talk about that segment. Moving on swiftly to the main event for the WWE Championship, we had a very young Brock Lesnar facing The Rock, and obviously, I think the last time until this year, this was the last time that the winner of the King of the Ring got to face the WWE Champion, and obviously Brock Lesnar won the King of the Ring, and would then face Brock Lesnar, The Rock at SummerSlam, just like Gunther is doing right now. And so obviously in this match, we had Brock going on as the heel and The Rock going in as a face, but we had this is like the perfect example of the changing times, because the internet was becoming a more prevalent thing in pro wrestling at the time. Everyone knew that The Rock was soon going to be leaving to go to Hollywood. To start his career in Hollywood for the first time, right? The Scorpion King. That's right. The Mummy. That's why, in this match, the crowd just turned on The Rock, basically. Yeah, that's why it was, because it was noted that he was displeased with the crowd reaction, but that's why. It's because people were getting in on shit, and This was the start of WWE also realizing,
oh shit, we now have to like find a new
way. Think about the internet, what people know about the real world. Yeah,
we now have to take this new thing into consideration
account.
more.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
kayfabe is dead. People know about this shit.
Yeah.
We have to somehow lean in. And it took them, and it's taken them about 20 years to perfect it. You know?
Yeah, but it's a very difficult thing to perfect, and it's quite astonishing actually that they've gotten to a point where they've actually have figured out a way of blurring the lines and also keeping things a secret. It's astonishing because news travels fast.
It's fucking phenomenal, especially when you consider, how things are these days and how easy it is to, how easy it is for things to get spoiled.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so the Rock does indeed lose a little inside behind the scenes here, but apparently the Rock was inside baseball. But apparently the Rock was he wanted to, no matter how the match ended, he wanted this to Brock to go over completely clean. He didn't want Brock to cheat or anything like that. It wanted to just be a kind of a clean win.
It had to be. Exactly. It had to be. He knew it had to be for it to be definitively,
Obviously, The Rock didn't really know that the crowd was just going to turn on him in the match, but The Rock pulled an impromptu heel promo after the event finished.
Yeah, he did. Sing along time with The Rock is over. And then he turned heel on Hogan when he came back in January. Man.
Yeah, he turned heel, didn't come back for another 6 months, and then he faced Hulk Hogan. Turned heel on Hulk Hogan, leading to a WrestleMania 18 rematch, which I think a lot of people forget that The Rock did actually face Hulk Hogan a second time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that happened. That'd be intriguing to go back and watch that match. I have no idea. I actually forgot that match happened.
I did as well.
And yeah, that's it. That's your card.
Yeah.
What do you give this card and this pay-per-view?
As far as the rating, the 1 to 20 rating.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a 19.
Okay,
I'm giving it.
That's what I'm giving it.
And I'm giving it. But the only reason I can't give it a 20 is the Howard Finkel shit. Just shouldn't have been like there's. That's the only thing that I could deal with the snarky bullshit with Eric Bischoff. The Howard Finkel stuff was just a little much.
And that's exactly why I'm giving it 19. It's just the stuff backstage with Bischoff and Stephanie, and the stuff with Finkel, and the stuff with Jamie Noble and Nadia and
God,
just such unnecessary bullshit that we just didn't need. And obviously, it was very of the time, but
it was very
it brings the rating down. So
take away any one of those three, and it would have. But that's a 3 strike. I mean, that's basically a 3 strikes. You lose. You just has to lose a point for that. Still a crit. I give it a crit because of the matches itself and everything else around it. The Shawn Michaels Triple H match, it was fantastic.
There's so many fucking good matches on this card to not give it a good rating.
Yep.
All right.
Some
shout outs. Well, before we next week we'll be doing.
What are we doing next week?
Well, SummerSlam is this weekend.
Oh shit! We're gonna be reviewing this year's SummerSlam, and
that's right.
We're gonna see who was right and who was surprised.
That's right, and I guess
hashtag right or surprised.
Yeah, I guess we'll we'll do the review next week, and I guess it's not quite there yet, but SummerSlam last year. Hold on a second, let's have a look here. Yeah, SummerSlam was our first ever episode last year. Obviously, SummerSlam was a little later than last year than it is this year, so it's not quite a full year yet. But in some ways, our 1 year anniversary. This is technically our second SummerSlam we've ever covered. So.
Yep. This is the SummerSlam. Like it's SummerSlam anniversary.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
us.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but oh yeah. Where's my shout outs? Where'd my shout outs go? Here it is. Shout out to who do we want to shout out? Who do we need to shout out to? Oh shit, no, there was a shout out. Hold on. There was a specific comment that I said I was going to shout out on this week's pod. Now I've got to go find it. Shit, where was it? Was it on Instagram? This'll get cut. Man, our band moves thing is still. Oh, by the way, congratulations! We between last week and this week, we passed 750,000 views.
Yeah,
on
there we
our
go.
returning band moves reel.
Fuck yeah! Wild.
Yeah, that is pretty wild. I can't remember where it is. I can't find out. So there was a person who I said I was going to shout out on this week's podcast because of a comment they made that was awesome. And I can't find it now. So if you're that person and you started listening to our podcast because I told you I was going to shout it out, sorry, I can't remember where it was. Or
Hopefully you can find it between now and next week, and you can mention it then.
Or if you are, just message us. Let me know it was you, so that we can, so that I can properly give you credit on next week's episode, on our anniversary episode. Yeah, I guess next week will be our anniversary episode, so we better come up with something. You want to video it? You want to do video next week?
Oh damn!
For our anniversary, just see what it's like.
I guess we could try. We'll have to figure that out. But yeah,
let's see. You know what? Out. You know what? Let's put it up as a let's put that up as a should we?
As a
should we do our anniversary and let the people decide?
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
All right. So shout out to us for potentially giving us more work, giving me more work to do in video editing next week. Next week's anniversary episode. Shout out to Wikipedia. Support Wikipedia. We get most of our information from them. And if we don't, we usually say where we get it from. Shout out to all our new followers that we get each week. I don't know where we're at because I stopped counting. But definitely that guy that I said I was gonna shout him out. It's probably listening. So yeah, let me know who you are again. Sorry. And you can do that. You can let me know who you are on any of our social medias. On Instagram and Threads at Punks Talk Wrestling. On Facebook and TikTok at Punks Wrestling. On Facebook and TikTok at Punks Talk Wrestling. There's a YouTube with nothing on it at youtube.com/@punkstalkwrestling. Email us at punkstalkwrestling@gmail.com. We went through next week's episode.
Yeah.
We haven't mentioned anything about the inaugural Punks Talk Wrestling Superior Intellect in All Things Professional Wrestling and Phil Collins championship match between the Proper Prick CJ Newman and the anonymous podcast critic.
Jesus.
Because there has not been any further development yet. The MBDCN BCNA Peacock is still in effect. We have not, there's our, man, this is falling apart. This outro is really, I'm really struggling with it.
How about we call it a day? How about next week? There may be an update. There may not be.
Yeah,
but there's all your shout outs.
We'll talk about it next week.
There's everything. And next week, we're going to come back better than ever. Brand new year, second year of the podcast, and we're going to make no mistakes.
That's right. And that's correct. No mistakes. No mistakes that will leave in the podcast. We'll edit them out.
Yeah.
Can we end this? Can we end? I don't.
We're gonna end now. Yeah. Let's not beat a dead horse.
Yeah. Is it over?
It's over. All right, Nick Patrick was I like Nick Patrick. I like Nick Patrick. It's the way he counted. Didn't like the way he counted. The way he counted was weird. He gets that. He looked like a kind of fish dying. But that's another story for another time. We're talking about Earl Hebner right now, and Earl Hebner, it just didn't never got over with me. Couldn't get into him. He sucked. I'll just leave it there.